We are live. Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We have a new guest on today. It's the Darren Lewis from the Mirror and TalkSport. I mean, I watch you, I listen to you a lot on TalkSport, especially with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. I love them shows. How you doing, Darren?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
No, it's good. And of course, we've got our regular Chief Scout, Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great. Good morning to everybody out there. Good morning, Darren. Good morning, Kieran.
Good morning, Steve.
Let's say hello to the comment section. How you doing, people? Make sure you like and subscribe. How you doing? All right, kids. All right, it's reality, people. It's reality. All right.
More sex than me, so don't worry.
All right, we're going to start off today. It's a bit of a sore one. 9 months in since Liverpool took the knee for Black Lives Matter. We've had a call for diversity in the next FA chairman-elect. But what's changed? Players make a mistake or have a bad game on a Saturday, and the following morning or that night, they're getting racially abused. Social media outlets not doing anything about it. What's the next step, Darren? What do you think we need to do? What has been done? What do you feel if there's any wheels in motion at the moment?
Well, I know that the online harms bill is trying to see if it can address the issue. There are a number of things that are in motion, but none of them really get to the heart of the problem, which is really very simple. The social media companies have got the power to be able to write algorithms that prevent you from using racist terms online, and they didn't take it. And until they do that, we're still going to continue to have the problem. I know lots of people say social media companies should do more, and it's a phrase that everyone seems to be using, but they're not listening. And until they actually decide that they want to listen, we're going to be back here again. I think actually, I'm sure you both would agree with this. I'd be very interested to hear what you think, but I think where we are now is that we should simply be telling, empowering players like the PFA are doing, to take legal action. When you take legal action, you put people on notice that you're coming after them in a private capacity. You know, you're not reliant on what the club may or may not do. You're going to take that legal action and get that framework together where you can take into account for what's on their Twitter feed, their Instagram feed, what they're sending to you. Suddenly you might have a little bit of a deterrent, and the people will realise that they can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I agree. It's a similar with regards to when I see people misquoting, say, a journalist, for instance, and they put out and say that this journalist said this just to get clicks. And I even responded the other day and said, you guys need to be careful with what you're saying, because you're saying that a journalist has said something when they haven't said it. And at some points, I've seen them say, take it down. And the people are like, no. Why are you saying take it down? But it's like, at one point, you are going to be held responsible for this, and you will get taken to court, and you will get sued for it. I don't think they take it seriously. So it's going to have to be a situation where someone is sort of made they throw the book at them or such, and make a point of them, and then something might happen.
Yeah, I think what once you make an example of the first few cases, then suddenly people will realise he is serious. I know someone very high profile did it a couple of years ago where somebody said stuff about him that wasn't true. Mm-hmm. And a few people had said it, other people retweeted it, and he took action against all of them. Got legal letters sent to them, said if you don't make this financial donation to charity, I am going to take legal action against you. And he let them off the hook in a way. But yeah. I think in a way, I think the first few cases, maybe you can't do that. Maybe you need to send a message out to people that if they put that abuse online, you're coming after them. Then people might start to get the message.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, if that story there that you've told me there was more in the open, people knew that more. Maybe that would have been a bit more of a deterrent now. But the way the thinking that when I see it online is it's like they know they're going to get away with it. They laugh it off because they just see it as a joke. They just see it as something that's going to maybe get under the player's skin. They don't realize that it has a serious effect on people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can only start to think about the people who experience what we obviously describe as a pile-on on Twitter, and the negative effect it has on them. But then after a period of time, you can step away from Twitter, you can come back, and everything is back to normal. But imagine if you're a footballer and you're playing 38 games a season in the Premier League, how many games in the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Champions League. In every season you're getting, every time you have a bad game. You know, I know players who they search on Twitter to see what's there because of this perverse kind of, let's see what people are saying this week. And their mood is determined by what is being said on them on social media.
Yeah.
It has that kind of negative effect.
I think that what's in my eyes, what's really, really scary is that we've all got kids, and it's filtering its way down to them. And I've watched my kids play football on a Sunday, and there was one time when you had a 6-year-old literally saying names to one of the players on the pitch, and that's what's scary for me. That's what's scary for me, because I want to know, where has this 6-year-old actually got this from? Because in when I was a kid, everybody was friends with everyone, and you know, and there was. I always said there's no hate in kids, but now it's scary, Darren, because it's like now the kids are at 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I mean, are you seeing that happening now? That it's filtering its way down?
Yeah, listen, kids copy everything that they see on the TV or in the media, and I think we've seen the cases over the last couple of years. Last year, when I spoke to Wilfred Zaha, and he was talking about the fact that when he got the abuse that aimed at him, it turned out to be a 12-year-old that was sending them the abuse. You know, how does a 12-year-old find or hear or see some of the things that kid had been sending? And this is the problem. The social media companies talk about having rigid controls, but you can easily get around them. And they've got no real way of checking if you're 13 and old enough to be on their platform. So there's so many areas where they claim they're doing the right thing, but actually we all know that they're not. We all know somebody who's getting it. We all know somebody who's had it. We all know people who have complained about it, reported it, and being told that the terms don't breach the guidelines.
Yeah.
So they're not doing it. They say that they're doing the right things, but they're not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the things that I've seen, because I've had to report it previously. And even when you go down the reporting path, some of the sites don't even have racial abuse as one of their options. And when it does take you down that pathway, it just takes you to a pathway to say block. That's it. It's like, and then one time I've had it where I've made and the social media platform said we didn't see anything wrong with what was said, and it's just like, so it's a continuous battle, but it's one that that we need to keep on airing, because it's not going to go away, and it's life. So yeah, so no apologies for that subject matter this morning, people. Because it is what it is, and we've got to talk about it. So thank you for that, Darren.
Pleasure.
I will get on to the football now. Liverpool look like they could be bringing in a defender, Ben Davies from Preston. Their form's been stop and start throughout the season due to maybe some injuries. Do you think that'll be enough for them to maybe push for the title again and reclaim their title?
Well, they're also in for a second defender as well, Duje Caleta from Marseille, Caleta, to give him his correct surname. And it's touch and go as to whether this one will happen, but it looks as though it could still. Marseille not happy about letting him go because they know that they would need to get a replacement in, but he appears to be a good player. Both players in their early to mid-20s. Ben Davies in particular, all the reports suggest that he's got a fantastic attitude, that he's a very, very hard worker, that he's someone who's got a lot of desire, and people who played with him at former clubs and on loan with him speak very, very highly of him. Liverpool will have done their homework, as they always do, so they won't just find out what he can do technically, but they'll find out what he's like mentally as well. And I think he'll get the time. He won't have much time, but he'll get the time to maybe find out what the club are all about, what is being demanded of him. Coletta as well. I know less about him. I've seen him play. He does look a good player, and we'll see a little bit more about his mentality when he arrives at the club. But he is very, very highly rated. So 2 good players that Liverpool would have got. As I say, I don't think that these are players that they will have maybe looked into overnight. I think there'll be players that they will have had on their radar for a while. And I think that what they wanted to do initially was keep faith with the players that they've got, the squad they've got, because they've got very good players already. And so you would have to assume that both the players coming in are an upgrade on the rising stars that they've got at the moment.
Yeah, true, very true. And they've got some really good players coming through, but I feel they do need that little bit of experience, because Williams looks like a very good defender, but it seems like he just needs to be taken out of the limelight a bit now, because games are starting to pile up and his mistakes are starting to get in, and you don't.
The interesting thing with Williams is that's exactly what had been happening. Anyway, I think people perhaps weren't aware that what is happening with Liverpool is very, very specific, very organised. That they had always intended to dip him in and dip him out, take him out. They're very careful about the games that he plays in, which is why in some games, even though he was available, they didn't play him, and they would play Henderson and Fabinho at the back instead. So both those guys will go on to be good players, but in the short term, I think they're just being very, very careful as they nurture them.
Yeah. Do you think that Man City will, with their false 9, not using Aguero, can still win the league?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because I think, what wins you titles aren't necessarily spectacular performances like the kind of performances that Liverpool produced last season. City scored more goals than Liverpool in the Premier League last season, but they didn't win. Why?
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the best defence. This time around, they do. They've got the best defence by far. And I think that will help them massively, because all you need is a 1-0 and a clean sheet, and you can win the league. And that's what's, especially in this season. I mean, obviously in some seasons where, like last year, where you've got teams who can score 3s and 4s and keep a clean sheet, that would clearly be better. But I think as far as City are concerned, with the defence that they've got, the organisation that they've got, and their ability to score goals often out of nothing, Gundogan scoring goals, even though they don't have Sterling and De Bruyne as they didn't at the weekend. Torres can score goals. There are so many people in that team who can score goals for them that I could see them winning the league. Yes,
Ruben Diaz is playing a big part, isn't he? He's come in and hit the ground running. He seems to be like their Virgil van Dijk of 2 years ago when he first signed, and he's been unbelievable, Ruben Diaz. So I think you're right, Darren, when you said about it's not all about scoring goals. It's about a balance all over the pitch, and with people like Diaz and Cancelo, who's as well.
He's been excellent.
Both hit the ground running. Both really probably didn't know how they was going to play. So, they're going to be a danger.
I saw a fantastic statistic that the last time City conceded a goal from open play was in October against Porto.
Wow. Do you think Guardiola will get the same sort of credit that he does if they win it in this way, in this manner, where it's more of a defensive structure, more organised rather than the flair and because I don't think I feel he got the credit in that year where was it not last year, the year before, where they pulled it back from Liverpool, and they kind of, a lot of people said it was Liverpool lost it rather than Man City won it, and Pep Guardiola wasn't too happy about that, and I understand where he's coming from. So do you reckon he'd get the same credit that he will if they do it in this sort of
I think there is a kind of basic premise that everyone works from in relation to in relation to City, in so much as they've got so much money that they don't deserve credit, because anybody could do that if they had that much money, which isn't necessarily true. You know, there are teams where you got managers with a lot of money, but they don't really have a clear tactical plan. They can't manage the big egos. They can't manage the pressure. So it isn't necessarily true that if you have all the money, then you win everything. You know, all the money can't help Pep to win the Champions League or PSG, and they've got fortunes at their disposal.
Yeah.
But what you have to give credit to them for is the fact that lots of people believed that he couldn't rebuild the City side after all the players that he inherited from the managers that had been there before. And he's on the way to doing that. They've got 12 wins in a row for the first time in their history. They are way, as I said before, above any other team in terms of clean sheets in the Premier League and in terms of the consistency of their defence. And so I think he does deserve credit. They haven't had Sergio Aguero. He's only played 5 matches, started 5 matches all season. So effectively, he's winning games in a lot of cases, not all, because obviously Jesus is available, but in a lot of cases, he's winning games without a striker. So, yeah, I think he does deserve a credit, a hell of a lot of credit. And I think he will get that at the end of the season.
Let's hope so. Darren, thank you very much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. It's an absolute pleasure.
A real pleasure to be on here. Thank you very much. I'll come back in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Darren.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, and have a good day.
All right. Thank you very much for Darren Lewis for coming on. Make sure everyone presses the like and subscribe button. Make sure you share this, people. We're going to stay on for an extra couple of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Have a little run through of what's going on in the transfer market at the moment. As you saw, Liverpool are looking like they're getting Ben Davies in, and potentially the defender from Valencia. Where was it he said? Well, what we'll do is we'll get Jerome to come and check this player out, give it a little technical analysis. Well, Jerome's going to check him out and see if he's a decent player. And then we'll get a little run through of what he's like later on for you. Looks like Man City to go for Andre Silva from Frankfurt. Really? Nah, surely not. Really? Nah, I can't say that. Andre Silva from Frankfurt, is that the guy they're after?
I don't think so. I'll be surprised, but anyone. But this is deadline day.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get surprises throughout the day. One of the big ones for me this morning was something that we called about a couple of months ago now, that we was told that Billy Gilmore was going out on loan.
Yeah, where's he off to?
We had a big discussion about it, and it does look like he will be going off on loan today. And apart from as long as there ain't no problems, Southampton again are another club looking at him. So
this Edin Dzeko has been offered to Manchester City and Manchester United.
Well, yeah.
Man United don't need Edin Dzeko. Man United fans, would you take? You don't need Edin Dzeko. Would you take?
They don't know.
Man City fans, would you take Edin Dzeko? You don't really need Edin Dzeko, do you?
They don't need. They don't need players like that. I think if you're going to hear any forward rumours today for Manchester United, I think pretty much you can sort of wave them away.
Looks like Southampton have made a late move for Joshua King from Bournemouth, and Leicester are plotting a deadline day charge for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't know whether it would be a smart move loaning Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Leicester. They're a team that above us. They're a team that potentially be taking one of the European spots that we're after. Is it the wisest? Given the team,
I wouldn't. I did think of this yesterday when I heard that Leicester, and whether it make a difference, I don't know. But there's 3 or 4 other clubs in for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, so you could pick one out of a hat. They got a phone call last night with the Ork and Corkle deal. That was that was put to bed. So that's probably the reason why we're hearing this morning that they're after Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
So no Orkan Kirku off to Leicester. Christian Benteke, as Steve said last night, could be looking like he's going to West Bromwich Albion. They're looking to get that deal done before deadline day. Dele Alli still wants to join PSG. PSG want Dele Alli, but Jose Mourinho is apparently playing.
Yeah, I don't know what he's playing at there. I just whether it's just a game, to get more something, or it's just Jose Mourinho being Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, I'd go for the latter probably. Jose Mourinho versus Jose. Being Jose Mourinho. That's it.
I think it could be a busy one today, people. I really do, from what I'm hearing this morning, and texts and phone calls and emails that I've had this morning.
Duj Kaleta, his name is. We get Jerome to have a little look at him, and Jerome can.
Arsenal, you've got to be looking at Arsenal today. Manchester United, maybe not so much. Chelsea, I wouldn't worry too much about. But teams like Leicester, Manchester City, Wolves, obviously the teams at the bottom of the table, they're going to be hunting around for something. I think it's going to be a busy one.
There's reports that PSG are open to selling Idrissa Gueye, and Arsenal could well rekindle their 2019 interest in the Everton midfielder on deadline day. That sounds very. That sounds very like speculative. Very speculative to me. So I'm not too sure on that one. But yeah, who knows? Newcastle and PSG have an agreement over the loan for the rest of the season. Oh, hold on. But the player is not convinced by the move to the Magpies. He's open to returning to Premier League tomorrow. We should have let other clubs. Oh, so Newcastle and PSG have come to an agreement on a loan for Idrissa Gueye, but Idrissa Gueye is not too keen on the move to Newcastle. And it looks like there's just the Arsenal one on top of that looks like speculation. Not heard anything with regards to Idrissa Gueye to Arsenal. So, until...
Joe Willett looks like he could be going out on loan today. That's a big possibility.
Yeah.
And there could be a late shock bid from Manchester United for Jules Koundé.
I thought they were looking to get him in a January transfer window. I mean, in the summer.
That would be the shock, I suppose.
Wow.
That would be the shock news that they actually might feel that they need him now, but that has rose its head, so to speak. He is one excellent player. If they slotted him in there next to, say, Bailey or Maguire, so keep your eyes out for that one.
As we said last night, Sami Khedira looks like he could be on his way to Hertha Berlin. They've started their clear out to engineer funds for pretty much whoever they have to try and buy in the summer. They need to get funds for, because Juventus have no money. Make sure you join us later on. We have Carlo. Well, I called him Carlo the Italian the other day, but that is not his name. We've got. Let me go through our list of
just a couple of quick ones, a couple of quick important ones. York Salu has completed his medical to West Brom, so that's one player in the bin for Sam Allardyce today. I think there'll be a couple more, as we was mentioning on the show last night, Danny Rose. We was thinking that the deal might be off of him going. There seems to be a lot of problems. This morning it's been confirmed that the deal going to Trents and Poor has been called off, and he will not be going there.
All right. So we've got Alan Moore on at 11:30. At 12 o'clock, we've got Kevin Parker, head of Manchester City Supporters Club. Joan Luque on at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Unfortunately, we haven't got Jason Pettigrove on, but he did send a nice message out. Thank you very much for that, Jason. We'll definitely be speaking soon. We were going to have Simon Edwards on at 5 o'clock, but we actually have Peter Galendo. He is a European-based part of a European-based agency, scouting agency. He covers many leagues across the globe. Currently in Canada and Peru, so we should be getting some good insight from South American football there, and looks like from Canadian football as well. We've got a scout coming on later on. We've got Lee Allison, Hendon manager and Man United fan. Surprised he didn't want to come on for the Ben Fournier.
You never know; he might still want to.
Abby Summers and Jamie Brown of the Spurs supporters. They should be on at 7 o'clock. We've got Tom King, Newport goalkeeper and world record holder. David Weatherston, Norwegian expert and former St Johnston player. And finishing off the night with former Man United winger, Ben Thornley. All right, people, that is it for this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back on at 10:30. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.